We're going to notice that we have them in standard form, but you'll notice that they are the same as far as they are not opposites. So first thing we're going to do today is multiply one equation by -1. And essentially what's going to happen is we will switch signs. So in other words, I need to take one of the systems and multiply it by -1. So I'm going to take the top one, multiply it by -1. In other words, I'm going to distribute it to everything. So -1 times -6. Well, that's going to be a positive 6x. -1 times -2y is going to be a positive 2y. And then we also need to take the -1 and multiply it with a -40, in which case will be a positive 40. So the next thing I will do is bring down my other equation, the -7x, the -2y, and the -44. Now I am ready to add my equations. So add the equations. So -6 plus, positive 6 plus -7, -1. That eliminates, and 40 plus a -44 is -4. Okay, our next step we will be, same as the other day, is divide by the coefficient. So if I divide by the coefficient, I'm dividing by -1. That cancels, and x is equal to -4 divided by -1, 4. Okay, so then I'm going to pick an equation again, like we did the day before. Pick whichever one's easiest to work with, and we will substitute what we know. We know this to be 4. So pick an equation. I don't know. I'm going to pick the equation that we started with, this 6x plus 2y equals 40. That's a good equation. All right, we know x to be 4. So we're going to substitute what we know. So I'm going to take 6, multiply it in, so pick an equation, substitute, and solve. Well, first thing we will do is distribute. 6 times 4, 24. Bring down my 2y and my 40. And then we're going to add or subtract. So we're going to subtract 24. minus 24. 40 minus 24 tells me 16. And then we will divide by our coefficient. And so if I divide by 2, I get a value that y is equal to 8. So the solution at which they cross is 4, 8. All right, my next example, same thing. We're going to multiply one of the equations by -1. Pick one, it doesn't matter. I don't know, there's more negatives in the, I don't know, let's just do the bottom one this time. So we'll multiply this by -1. So we're forcing things to be opposites. So I'm going to rewrite the top equation. I have -5x plus 9y equals -32. And if I multiply this by -1, this becomes a positive 5x, -1 times -3, positive 3y, and a -1 times 4, -4. Now I am ready to add the equations. Add the equations. So these eliminate. 9 plus 3, well, that's going to be 12. And -32 minus 4 is -36. And then we're going to take 36, or -36, and we're going to divide it by our 12, which is our coefficient. And now I have y is equal to -3. Okay, so this time we solved for y first. Cool. Doesn't matter. So we're going to substitute in. So again, we're still trying to find where do they intersect. We know that our x value is what we're trying to solve for, and we know our y value is -3 because we just found that to be -3. So I'm going to go back and pick an equation. You can pick whichever one you want. Which equation do you want to use? I don't know. Maybe we'll use the new one that has the least amount of negatives. So maybe we'll say 5x plus 3y equals -4. We're going to substitute. So we know y is -3. And so we're going to solve, well, distribute. So 3 times -3, that's going to be -9. Bring everything else down. I add or subtract. I see -9, so I do +9. Cancels. 5x. -4 plus 9. -4 plus 9. 5. And then divide by coefficient. Divide by 5, divide by 5, and we get x equals 1. So they intersect at 1, -3. All right, let's take a look at a word problem and what it would look like if you were to x plus 29y equals 94.15. 25x plus 29y equals 121.15. So here's my two equations. All right. I want to know what the cost is for website 1. Where is website? Here's website 1. Okay, so I have 15x plus 29y. I need to eliminate website 2 in order to solve for website 1. So let's do this. Let's multiply one of the equations by a negative 1. If I multiply that by negative 1, I'm going to get negative 15x minus 29y equals negative 94.15. I'm going to bring down my 25x, my positive 29y, and my $121.15. Now I'm going to add my two equations together. So if I add the two equations together, negative 15 plus 25, 10. Negative 29 plus 29. They eliminate. Yay. And negative $94.15 plus $121.15 is $27 total. Then we divide by our coefficient, and we find out that x, which is website 1, is 27 divided by 10, and that's $2.70. So your answer is D.